Who is y'all to tell me what he diagnosed with and what he look like, what he sound like? Y'all don't know nothing about God, and y'all don't know nothing about nothing. You talking to me like that, so I rebuke everything y'all saying about my child. To be honest,
it's time to just say what it is so that you can stop being embarrassed and harboring that guilt. I literally spoke what I saw because I was in shock.
Was supposed to be a plain, unobtrusive church appearance. However,
was intended to be a simple, unobtrusive church appearance. But when Cohn arrived with her toddler, who was about 2 years old, in her arms, everyone noticed something strange. Cohn Jr., who is known online as Cohn Jr., was startlingly still, not calm, and lacked the basic engagement and curiosity typical of a child his age. The unease spread quietly, with whispers bouncing between onlookers like static. Where has the progress gone? Cohn had once gushed about her son in a live event. She described Junior as perfect at birth, but the illusion quickly crumbled when his limbs became rigid, his eyes became unfocused, and even as a newborn, he showed very little head movement. The most frightening indicator was his shrill, high-pitched wail, which was terribly out of place. Footage emerged in a single video. While her infant cried in the background, Cron defended a contentious tattoo of Blueface's face on her cheek. The piercing sound sparked a flurry of conjecture. She was trying to feed Junior, who was 8 months old, in another footage, but he didn't react or reach for the food until the spoon almost hit his lips. Parents who couldn't understand why their 8-month-old wasn't reaching for food and where their motor skills were developing flooded the comment section. The awareness that wasn't trolling, but rather real worry, only grew stronger. People started to wonder if the delays were related to Cron's documented history of smoking and drinking while pregnant. One frank remark encapsulated the public opinion. He should be reacting by cooing and lifting his head, but he isn't doing it naturally, and she is in denial that he isn't reaching his milestones. Cohn clapped back, claiming her baby was fine, and accusing the detractors of spreading hate. However, as the videos went public, experts started to voice their concerns, with one stating that Junior seemed to exhibit indications of fetal alcohol syndrome, including low-set ears and a flat mid-face, delayed reflexes, and tiny eye openings. Others proposed Creed-Ducha syndrome in light of his unique. The more she defended herself, the less the public thought that Crowan had ever hesitated to share every detail of her life. So if Junior was really fine, why hadn't she shared medical documentation? Some even pointed out an unusual reflection in photos, saying that his pupils showed white instead of red, suggesting possible vision issues.
It crushed my heart to look at my grandbaby and see that, and that was my first time seeing it.
Oh, God.
And it did. It crushed my heart a little bit. It did. But I love all my kids no matter what I told you, whether they slow, need a helmet, whether they got nappy hair, whether they short, funny looking. I love all my grandkids, but I ain't gonna lie. My first initial thought when I saw him in that restaurant, it crushed me. And for her to say she wanted to stomp me out, girl, you ain't. I can't even tell you what my mind wanted to do to you once I looked in his face, and I didn't know if he was looking at me, you, or the air. I was hurt, genuine.
This brand was initially built on transparency. She live-streamed everything, including meals, tantrums, and moments with Junior. However, as concerns about his development increased, she started to back off, and the shift was difficult to implement. Her previous actions didn't help her case. Cohn allegedly stated that she had other things to do, so Blueface, who is no stranger to chaotic parenting, accused her publicly of postponing Junior's hernia operation. He only booked the Blueface forced her to go online as his condition worsened, and she aired a jubilant video, seemingly erasing the delay. Months later, as Junior's first birthday approached, Cohn released a video of him walking it. Appeared to be an attempt to quell criticism, but instead of demonstrating growth, the video showed how far behind he was in terms of development, and some started to doubt whether she really wanted a child or had Junior has only served as a living link to Blueface, someone to cling to during their painful breakup. Her once loyal closest friend Janet publicly accused Cohn of being insane and failing to recognize that her son needed immediate assistance. Finally did what many thought should have been done long ago after the public outcry. She removed her kid from social media for the first time in more than a year, stopped recording every moment, and at least publicly concentrated on raising her child away from the spotlight. This was the best course of action, move she'd made in a long time, but by the time she did it, the damage was already done. Months later, at the same church event where she performed her new song, Yahweh Crown brought Junior back to the public, at the age of almost 2. Many people were hoping to see signs of progress, but instead they saw the same unsettling silence. People thought the boy was a victim of his surroundings since he was born into instability, a cycle of threats, breakups, and irresponsible behavior from both young parents. This fury was not about demeaning a crippled child. It was about something deeper. The boy didn't investigate, didn't reply, and didn't even appear intrigued. Several videos showed Cone drinking and smoking while obviously pregnant, and others shouting into the camera, threatening to end the pregnancy. Their immaturity wasn't concealed, it was live-streamed, and now their child is suffering as a result. The mother of Clarissa Blueface, who has previously publicly argued with Cone, spoke out this time, but her criticism was filled with sadness. She said it was painful to see that something was obviously wrong, and that things didn't have to be this way. She's correct. It didn't have to be this way.
I said she drank, and because I hear the cry and I see what y'all see, I do feel like there could be time to just say what it is so that you can stop being embarrassed and harboring that guilt. I literally spoke what I saw because I was in shock.
Was supposed to be a plain, unobtrusive church appearance.
Unsafe
However,
behavior and inadequate prenatal care. Careless partying Cone refuses to take the repercussions after the public witnessed her disregard each and every one of them in real time, because admitting the truth would require her to confront an intolerable reality that her child might be, why won't she, suffering as a result of her own decisions. And for some people, that level of responsibility is more terrifying than a diagnosis. Public pity has vanished in the wake of the recent close-up film of Chrisean Jr. Instead, people are begging her to quit acting as though this was beyond her control because she made the decisions that have shaped her son's life. And the reality is heartbreaking. He didn't request to be born into instability. One person commented, but he's stuck in it now. We watched her smoke on camera during her pregnancy, which Zeus Network taped for entertainment, and we saw her become unprepared for motherhood. Why are people still shocked that he might have special needs? The caution. The signs were obvious and loud. While some people think she is aware that she is drowning in guilt behind closed doors, she publicly clings to denial like a lifeline, and keeps praying for healing, but prayer is insufficient because her junior, who is now almost 20 months old, is unable to walk, is nonverbal, and cannot talk. These are serious developmental red flags, and while Cone may be struggling, the world is watching and pleading with her to take him to specialists, to advocate for him, and give him a fighting chance, because at the end of the day, it is not about gossip or fame, but about a child who didn't ask for any of this and still deserves something better. First-time moms, perhaps without support or guidance, are not excused in action.